Hey, so I wanted to just give you a quick little mini lesson on really just our basic stances. This you'll have time to work on at home. It doesn't take a lot of space. You'll be able to really improve on these basic stances that you hear all the instructors talking to you about each and every class. Our stances are very important. They provide us with stability. They provide us with balance, right? Our stances are designed to help us get power into our techniques. They're designed to help make our legs stronger so that we can get power into our techniques, okay? We know that in certain situations, you're not going to, look for the perfect front stance or the perfect cat stance. We get it, we know that. But without understanding how to do those techniques or those stances properly, if you find yourself in a situation, you're not going to have good balance. You won't be able to, your body will not automatically go to a good position with good balance, right? So that's what we're trying to develop with these stances. So we might as well start right from the beginning, okay? So when you hear the instructor say chiriyat, it's not necessary that you slap your hands at your side like that. When we are calling chiriyat to stand at attention, it's simply stand up straight, feet together, eyes straight ahead. That's it. That's attention, okay? Then you'll hear the instructor ikunyet for bowing. Bowing is simple from attention position. Simply bow and stand up straight again, okay? Then you'll hear the instructor say chumbi. Chumbi means ready, or as I say, get into your ready stance. Now, when you hear the instructor say chumbi, if you're standing at the front of the class, you see all kinds of things. You see things like this, right? You see things like this, right? We see all kinds of things. That's not getting ready, right? That's relaxing. So when you hear the instructor say chumbi, after you bow, when you hear the instructor say chumbi, left leg comes up, hands come up under the chin, step down, feet at shoulder width, and punch down toward the floor this way. All right, so one more time, bow, then you'll hear the instructor say chumbi. Right? Feet are at shoulder width, hands are punching down, eyes are straight ahead. That's chumbi stance, okay? It's important that you work on that, right? It's very important that you work on that. I think I got too close to the camera, but oh well. The other stance we want to work on then, from chumbi position, is our horse riding stance. And we talked about that the other day in the center punch tape. Chumbi position, feet are at shoulder width. Horse riding stance is about twice this, right? About twice this, with your knees bent and your back up straight. You don't want to be leaning forward. Knees are bent to the outside like you're wrapping your legs around a barrel, not to the inside this way. Your body weight should be going down the outside part of your leg, to the edge of your foot, all right? So your big toes are almost off the floor. I'm exaggerating a little bit to get the point across, but really, when you're in that horse riding stance, deep knee bend, pushing the weight to the outer edge of your foot, this gives you a lot of stability in this position. So you can practice this every day. Look in a mirror, make sure your knees are bent. If you're standing up straight, this is not a proper horse riding stance. We use this stance quite often, okay? So you want to make sure you're bending those knees, all right? So there's a quick synopsis of horse riding stance. Now the stance that we use all the time, our front stance. When we do front stance, so often hips are twisted, okay? Hips are twisted. So from this position, we don't want to see this as a front stance. And even when the instructor says bend your knees, often we see that. This is not a front stance. If I'm going this direction, my body's facing that way. I should technically be walking this way, right? So our front stance, we want our hips, we want our shoulders, we want our eyeballs pointed straight ahead. So how do we get in this good front stance? From Chimbi position, starting with our left leg, for the advanced belts, we're doing that C step, right? Our foot comes in and then out. So what happens from here, our feet stay about shoulder width. I always like to say, try to get the inside part of your foot to the outside of your shoulder. That'll give you good balance and good support, okay? The stance should be about twice as long as our Chimbi position, as our shoulder width. So shoulder width and about twice as long shoulder width. So from this position, your front stance, and you can practice with your hands on your hips, from here, you step forward in that C step into that front stance. Hips, shoulders, eyeballs, focus straight ahead. Front knee is bent, back leg is locked out. Okay? So from the side, it'll look like this. Front knee bent, back leg straight, hips, shoulders, eyeballs straight ahead. So that's our front stance position. The bottom part of our leg should be at a 90-degree angle to the floor. If you're like this and you look down and see your toes, your front knee is not bent far enough. So you have to bend your knee a little bit. Now, if your stance is short and your knee is out over your toes that way, this is not correct. You want from your knee down at a 90-degree angle to the floor. Back leg is nice and straight, hips, shoulders, eyeballs straight ahead. So there's our front stance. And once again to the front from this position, good strong front stance. Okay, good. Now, the other stance that we do, you start learning this at about orange belt level. You really use it a lot at green belt level, is our cat stance. Cat stance, some people call it fighting stance. I differentiate between the two a little bit. We'll get into that maybe in another video. But our cat stance, weight is centered. Your body is nice and tall. However, in this stance, you are sideways to the direction that you are marching. So if I'm marching toward the camera, my cat stance, my body's going to turn sideways this way. My head is going to be facing the camera. My body's going to be up nice and tall. Now, you should also notice the front foot. The toes are pointed in the direction I'm walking. Often we see this in a cat stance. This is not a cat stance, right? Knee, toes pointed the direction you're walking. From this angle, my back leg is pointed in the direction of my body. My front leg is pointed 90 degrees to that. Front knee is bent, back leg is bent, front heel is up in the air. My body is nice and tall. Now, an easy way to get into this is to stand a little wider than shoulder width with your feet. Point, we'll go to the left side. Point your left foot to the left. So you're standing this way. Feet are at 90-degree angles to each other. From here, imagine there's a rope attached to your belt and somebody's pulling that rope straight back. It forces your right knee to bend. From here, you pick up your left heel. And this is your cat stance. Right? From the other side, adjust your feet. Pull that hip back, forces your left leg to bend. Put that right hip up in the air. Keep your body nice and tall. You don't want to be bent over this way. Okay, so from the front, body up nice and tall this way. You do not want to be bent over like that. So you can practice this on both sides. Feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. Point your toes, pull your hip over to the side, bend that knee, lift your heel up. Keep your body nice and tall. And there you go for cat stance. All right, so what I would like everybody to do is to work on these stances a little bit every day. Hold each stance for about 30 seconds. If you hold your cat stance in this position for 30 seconds, I guarantee you this leg is going to be burning. And that burning is simply making your leg stronger. That's a good thing. So don't be afraid to feel that muscle burn a little bit in that leg. Good cat stance is very, very important for the techniques that we do. All right, so I want you to work on those every day, and when we get back here in class, I should see a lot of improvement in those basic stances. Take some time every day. Thank you.